Hey, what's going on, guys? J-Mac here. So I had planned to put out a kind of channel update video since I hadn't put out a lot of content recently, just to let you guys know where I'm at and what my plans are for the channel. But they went ahead and put out the patch 2.3 preview yesterday, so we're going to go over that and all the changes that they have planned. Now, keep in mind this is super early on, so everything is subject to change. The PTR has not even released yet, so a lot of things are going to change over the course of time. This will give you a rough idea, though, of what they have planned for this next patch. So let's get right into it. So the first thing, we're getting a new zone, the Ruins of Sescheron. In patch 2.3, the frozen wasteland that is the Ruins of Sescheron will open for exploration. Here you'll face off against strange new enemies and perilous environmental hazards, all while unearthing new mysteries from the lore of the mighty barbarians. Those brave enough to make it through in one piece will discover curious new points of interest, including the lost tomb of King Kenai and his ultimate treasure, Kenai's Cube. So, I mean, pretty cool. Always getting new content, new areas to explore, new maps, possibly for rifts and things like that is always nice. Not terribly exciting for me, but, it's cool to have in there. And then that brings us to the new artifact, Kenai's Cube. Now, this is really, really cool and has a lot of implications for different builds and things like that. So, those who played Diablo 2 might remember the Heraldric Cube, a unique device which allowed you to combine items. Useful as it was easily surpassed in power by the item from which it originated, Kenai's Cube. In patch 2.3, players will be able to discover this powerful ancient relic and utilize its incredible potential, including the ability to break down legendary items and equip their special effects as passive skills, which are separate from your other passive skills. Convert crafting materials from one type to another, and so much more. This has some really crazy stuff you can do with it potentially. The first thing that came to mind for me was having the effect of a Star Metal Kukri as a passive, then being able to run any weapon you wanted while still having the SMK effect. Pretty insane. Same thing with like Dagger of Darts, for instance, as for running Carnival. Now, we're getting a new set for Witch Doctor, and we're getting Helltooth revamped, so Carnival, Dagger of Darts may not be the go-to spec anymore for greater rifting, but still has a lot of really cool potential things you can do there. Now, from what they've said so far, you're able to have one weapon legendary passive, one jewelry legendary passive, and then one armor legendary passive. So 3 total that are separate from your other passive skills from your class. So pretty cool stuff there. We're getting some crafting system updates. For those who eagerly gather crafting materials on their journey to level 70, we've got good news you'll especially enjoy. Starting in patch 2.3, the same crafting mats you use at max level will be available as you level up. Pretty cool. Crunch down the number of crafting recipes, making the process easier and more fluid than ever as your results now dynamically adjust your character's level. Whether you're bashing skulls on the highest difficulty or you've just started your career and killed your first champion elite pack, crafting mats will never go to waste. So, sounds like some quality of life stuff there more than anything, but those are always nice to get. Make the game play much smoother and enjoyable. A lot of times when you're playing games like this, and in the past with D3, there's a lot of little things that are just annoying as you're leveling up, especially when you're leveling up 1 to 70 again, and then re-gearing at 70 in a season. So those quality of life changes always really help your enjoyment of the game overall. Adventure mode updates. Now this is pretty great. This patch includes changes designed to improve the pacing of adventure mode while encouraging players to explore bounties across a variety of acts. In addition to removing the realm of trials, which we all knew was going to happen this patch, and is probably the feature that I'm looking forward to the most in this patch. It's very frustrating when you want to go solo push greater rifts to have to rely on 2 to 3 other players to generate the keys for your 55 plus pushes and then go solo them. Hopefully this way you're not going to have to rely so much on having other people around to do those things, especially when you're trying to solo push and you're trying to play solo, and then you have to rely on a group to then allow you to do that. It's frustrating. We're improving bounty rewards by adding new act-specific crafting mats to Heraldric caches. Completing bonus acts in adventure mode games will also now grant a bonus Heraldric cache stuffed with crafting materials, gold, and additional act-specific crafting mats. Act-specific crafting mats is interesting. New feature, Season Journey. Really just some extra kind of, progression stuff for people that care about these kinds of things, to kind of see how they're progressing through a season and stuff like that. Extra portrait frames, things of that nature. Not really terribly exciting for me, but I know a lot of people really do like that kind of stuff, so that's cool for them. Getting new difficulty levels. A lot of people for quite a while have complained that Torment 6 is just way too easy. I mean, it's so face roll, especially with the addition of ancient items. So as players continue to discover powerful new gear, the current hardest difficulty level, Torment 6, can begin to feel less challenging. That's an understatement. To help keep hardened battle veterans on their toes, we're adding 4 new Torment levels with appropriate reward rates, including Torment 10. We'll be iterating on these new difficulties and rewards as the PTR progresses, so we look forward to hearing your feedback. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad to see that. New legendary set items. Kind of expected that with a new patch. For all you dedicated loot hunters, we're also adding lots of shiny new legendary and set effects to the game. Aside from doing this through introducing new items, we're also revamping special effects on some existing items and granting new effects to some items which don't currently have one. As with other patches, changes to legendary items are now not retroactive, so you'll need to find them once more to use their updated form. Overall, this should result in more build options for you to explore. Now, from what I recall, in previous patches, I'm pretty sure that set items were retroactive, but legendary items were not. But who knows if they're going to keep with that trend. I would assume they would. So if you're playing a class that's getting a set revamped, such as Witch Doctor with Helltooth, I would think those would be retroactive, but again, I can't say for sure. And then again, we know for Witch Doctor we're getting a brand new set, which is very exciting. Got some combat changes. Several changes to monsters are coming to the game as well. Along with reducing the amount of crowd control the game's tougher monsters will tolerate. They've already hinted towards the fact that they want the Ticklandian Visage to not have permanent crowd control with the Witch Doctor and 0 DPS, so I'm assuming that change is going to be implemented this patch, but we'll see what happens. We've adjusted the experience and rift progress granted by killing monsters so they better reflect the effort required to kill them. For example, monsters that take more time or effort to kill now provide more experience, and those that are especially easy to kill will provide less. So this sounds like, you know, you get those Dust Eater maps, very slow zombies that are extremely easy to kill but give you a ton of progression. Sounds like they're going to give you less progression than they used to, but maybe something like, you know, Corrupted Angels or Anarchs, maybe because they're more difficult monsters, they're going to give you more progress, which makes sense overall. We've also made changes that create a better balance between the time you spend exploring and clearing Nephilim or greater rifts, and the time you spend facing the Rift Guardian, which with these changes, more of the emphasis will be on your journey as you explore and clear the rift. So overall, I'm extremely excited for this patch. They really added a lot more content than I expected them to, especially the Kanai's Cube is really exciting, especially for the Witch Doctor class. We've always had the issue ever since Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls released that we had to run specific voodoo masks because of how build defining they were. Whether it was a Mask of Jerem, Carnival, or Quetzalcoatl, we always had to do that. With the Kanai's Cube, the potential to be able to run the effect of a Quetzalcoatl or Mask of Jerem as a passive and then be able to run another helmet is pretty exciting and has a lot of implications for, you know, varying builds. Now, there's a good chance very specific cookie cutter builds are going to end up being the best, like it always is for every class in this game, but I think we'll see a lot more build diversity, especially in the mid-tier difficulties because of that. And, you know, the same for weapons, too. Like I said before, you'll be able to run the SMK effect while running, you know, Dagger of Darts or a Furnace or something like that is pretty insane. So hopefully that stuff ends up being as cool as it sounds. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I plan to put out a lot of content for patch 2.3, and I plan to stream it quite a bit as well. And I know I haven't put out a lot of content recently, but I really plan to get back into putting out at least 2 to 3 videos a week once this patch drops. I'm going to focus mainly on Witch Doctor on the PTR, and then once I feel like I've kind of covered the class enough, I'll switch over to Wizard and do that, and then maybe even another class potentially. So if you enjoy the content, go ahead and like and subscribe, and maybe even hit up the Twitch stream. I'll put a link to that in the info section of this video. So thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you next time.